My name is Jamila Ismailovna. I work at Urgench State University. I want you to switch off your microphones. Maybe you will switch on your video.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, let's begin our lecture. Can you see my screen? The screen of my computer? Can you see it?
Yes. Yes.
This term, I'll deliver a lecture on stylistics of the English language with you. The first lecture is called Stylistics of the English Language. Today we'll mostly talk about style and style study, and differentiate the term style and stylistics. So the word style is originated from the Latin word, which means a stick for writing on wax tablets. As you know, there were no papers at that time where the literature and writings began. In its turn, the subject stylistics originated from the combination of two words, style and tics. Style means a stick for writing on wax tablets. Tics means a pen. In combination, stylistics means to write correctly in order to attract readers' attention. According to Galperin, a very well-known linguist who has investigated the stylistics of the English language from the point of view of linguistics, it is Galperin. Some other linguists, Arnold, Kukharenko, and a very well-known Uzbek linguist, Ashurova Dili Umarovna. So there are different points of view of style study. According to Galperin, style is a set of characteristics by which we distinguish one author from other, or members of one subclass from members of other subclasses, all of which are members of same general classes. Style is regarded as something that belongs exclusively to the plane of expression and not to the plane of content. As you know, we can meet style in all spheres of our human being living. For example, you can meet style in architecture. For example, it is very modern nowadays, fashionable nowadays to build new buildings. So the architecture is developing nowadays, and you can see as well as in Urgench and in Nukus, very different beautiful buildings. This is the concept style that concerns to architecture. If we talk about style, for example, in our appearance, for example, the people may have different hairstyle, for example. Mainly girls like to do their hairstyle differently. And also, you may see the style in the appearance, in the dressing of people. Depends on the people's personality, they can dress differently. So, we also use style in linguistics also, because the manner of speaking, the manner of talking, the manner of explaining your speech differs from each person. So we can use the term style in linguistics also. So the confusion between term and stylistics The first concept, this concept style, is very broad, and it is hardly possible to regard it as a term. We can speak of style in architecture, literature, behavior, linguistics, dress, and other fields of human activity. Even in linguistics, the word style is used so widely that it needs interpretation. So, this subject stylistics is a subject where we learn style as a subject and it needs interpretation. So, what is style or what is stylistics in linguistics? Definition of style are conditioned by the concept of language and of linguistic norms. When the standard spoken language is accepted as the linguistic norm, style is defined as a variant of this or that language, and colloquial language as well as is regarded as a style, a style of language. Because, for example, Uzbek language has different dialects, styles of speaking. So classification of style varies accordingly to that. Styles can exist only when a linguistic system permits a choice of linguistic means. Consequently, style is a historical category that originates together with the concept of linguistic norms. In its modern meaning, the term style appeared in European languages in the first third of 19th century, owing to the development of theory of historicism. The term was introduced toward the mid-19th century by uh, linguists Spencer and Steinel. With the image of semiotics, such scholars as Foucault proved that style is important not only in literature, but it is very important, but in every area in which language is used, including science. Okay, the majority of linguists who deal with the subject of style agree that the term applies in the following fields of investigation. In our Telegram group, I've shared some books, some literature by Galperin, by Kukharenko, by Uzbek scientists Babahanova, and later I'll deliver the book about stylistics by Arnold and some other linguists. So there is a widely held view that style is a correspondence between thought and expression. Language is said to have two functions. It served as a means of communication and also as a means of shaping one's thoughts. The first function is called communicative, and the second function is expressive. Continuing speaking about style, the term style also signifies a literary genre. We speak about classical style or the style of classicism, realistic style. The concept of style is also widely used to define complex artistic and literary trends typical to various epochs. So let us continue talking about stylistics as a science. So it is considered that stylistics is a branch of general linguistics. As we know, there are different types of linguistics and stylistics. We will talk about it later. So, stylistics as a science studies style or the stylistic functions of any unit of language. For example, learning sound style or pronouncing word style, etc. Stylistics as a science differs from all other linguistic subjects. It has a special system of language units for study. Stylistics has no special system of language units. It studies language with its system of units from the point of view of style. So let us consider the definition of the word stylistics as we have done the definition for the word style and tics, stylistics, which means to write correctly in order to attract readers' attention. The subject stylistics deals mostly with literature. I'll explain it later, the stylistic analysis of books, of literary books, later. So, stylistics can be defined as a branch of modern linguistics devoted to the detailed analysis of literary style. It is considered in Oxford Concise Dictionary of Literary Terms. Uh, the stylistics is devoted to the detailed analysis of literary style or of the linguistic choices made by speakers and writers in non-literary contexts. So, stylistics is considered as branch of general linguistics, which deals with the investigation of two independent tasks. The first task is stylistic study of the special media of language, which are called stylistic devices and expressive means. There are many more types of stylistic devices and expressive means, and which we are going to learn it in our coming lectures. Stylistics studies the types of texts which are distinguished by the pragmatic aspects of the communication and are called functional styles of language. This idea is considered by very well-known English linguist uh, Ilya Galperin. So Galperin states that stylistics mostly deals with two independent tasks. The special media of language, by their ontological features, secure the desirable effect of the utterance that are called the stylistic devices and expressive means. The types of text that are distinguished by the pragmatic aspect of communication are called functional styles of language. So, stylistics as a branch of linguistics studies the principles and results of choice and usage of lexical, grammatical, phonetic, and other language means with the aim of transmitting of ideas and emotions in different communication settings. Because um, stylistics deals not only with style only, it also studies the interrelation between different subjects as phonetics, grammar, lexicology, and phonetics. Talking about structure of stylistics, there are two big structures that are defined in stylistics by Galperin. The first is linguistic stylistics, the second is literary stylistics. So linguistic stylistics deals with functional styles of a language and the elements of language from the point of view of their ability to express and cause emotions and associations. Functional stylistics investigates functional styles, special sublanguages, or varieties of notional language. In English literary standard, linguists distinguish the following major functional styles, belles lettres style, publicistic, newspaper style, scientific style, etc. But now I am going to explain you functional styles of a language and the elements in order to express the cause and emotion and associations. And these are learned in stylistic phonetics, stylistic morphology, stylistic lexicology, and stylistic syntax. As we have told, there are two big types of stylistics. The first was linguistic stylistics, the second is literary stylistics, and it deals with expressive means and stylistic devices, characteristics for a definite work of art, man of letters, literary movement, trends of epoch, and factors influencing the expressiveness of language. In its turn, I want to consider that expressive means are registered in dictionaries, manuals, on grammar, lexicology. Stylistics devices belong to stylistics only. Stylistic phonetics considers sound combinations, intonations, pitch, and they are considered as phonetic expressive means that are facts of the language, but there are also certain sound arrangements which produce a desired effect. For example, such phonetic stylistic devices as alliteration, onomatopoeia are used for euphony. Talking about literary stylistics, the most important division is differentiated between literary stylistics and linguostylistics. Both of them studied the common ground of literary language from the point of view of variability, the idiolect, or we can consider it as individual speech of a writer, because each writer has his own individual style of writing books, fiction books, or documentary books. It doesn't matter. Another one is poetic speech that has its own specific laws. You know lots of poets and which you can like their works. For example, there are many different writers in Uzbekistan, in Karakalpakstan, or English writers or American writers, but you prefer this work of one writer to another one because the style of writing or the individual style of writing is very easy for you to understand. That's why you prefer this writer to another one, for example. So talking about stylistic devices and expressive means that deal literary stylistics. As I considered, there are two big types of stylistics. So literary stylistics consider with stylistic devices and expressive means. So what is a stylistic device? A stylistic device, it is a conscious and intentional intensification of some typical structural or semantic property of a language unit. It can be neutral language unit or expressive language unit, and they are promoted to a generalized status and become a generative model. So stylistic device appears when two different meanings interact with each other. Later, I'll deliver a lecture about about types of meaning in linguistics and types of meaning from the point of view of stylistics, where we learn different types of word meaning that are considered as a stylistic type of meaning. And there we will learn about types of meaning and interaction of different types of meaning. If two or more meanings interact with each other, there appears a stylistic device. So here is a definition, a very literary definition of stylistic device in English. So expressive means, what is an expressive means? Expressive means of a language are those phonetic, morphologic, word-building, lexical, phraseologic, and syntactical forms which exist in language as a system for a purpose of logical or emotional intensification of the utterance. This is the point of view set by Ilya Galperin again. So there are different types of lexical and stylistic expressive means and stylistic devices. There are 5 very big types of stylistic devices and expressive means. So SD means stylistic devices. This is an abbreviation, and EM, it is an expressive means. This is an abbreviation. Expressive means and stylistic devices have a lot in common, but they are not completely synonymous. All stylistic devices belong to expressive means. Not all expressive means are stylistic devices. The first big types of stylistic devices, expressive means, this is a lexical that deals with words. The second big group belong to lexical syntactical, which deals with word and sentence in combination, the situation and the use of words in sentences, in syntaxis. The third big group of stylistic devices and expressive means, it is a syntactic expressive means and stylistic devices which deal with sentences, with paragraphs, syntactic whole, and combinations of different sentences as a one extract, one syntactic whole. And phonetic stylistic devices and expressive means, it is studies phonetic phenomena such as vocal pitch, pauses, logical stress, drawings, intonation, and etc. Graphics also is considered as a stylistic device and expressive means of expressive means which mostly deals with intonation. So talking about branches of stylistics, functional stylistics, it is considered a very big branch which sets of paradigm of language units on all levels of language hierarchy, serving to accommodate the needs of a certain situation. So what is a functional style? That there are 5 types of functional style we will consider in our next lecture. So functional style, it is a system of coordinated, interrelated, and interconnected language means intended to fulfill a specific function of communication and aiming at a definite effect. This is a point of view that was expressed by Professor Vinogradov. Functional style of language. A functional style is considered differently by different linguists. As I mentioned just now, a viewpoint by Vinogradov, And Galperin also considered a functional style of language. It is a system of interrelated language means which serves a definite aim in communication. It appears mainly in literary standard of language, so you should you should choose one literary book in order to understand and analyze the book by the point of view of stylistics. So according to Galperin, there are different types of functional speech styles in linguistics considered as stylistic functional styles. The first is belles lettres style, the second is publicistic style, newspaper style, scientific prose style, and the style of official documents. And another well-known linguist, Irina Arnold, she has considered a poetic style, scientific style, newspaper style, and colloquial style. According to Yulian Scribnov, style is considered as a specificity of sublanguage, the number of sublanguages, and styles is infinite. So this is all for today's our lecture. If you have any questions, you are welcome.